Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very strong team for the Psychic Cup using 3 of the best Pokemon in the meta set up in a way so that if you lose the lead to something like a Bruxish or a Claydol or something like that, you have 2 good responses in the back. The only Pokemon that beats all 3 of these is Water Gun Slowbro of all things, and how often do you really see that? I would say one thing about this team, and that is I'm using a very bad Victini. It hits 1456 and it has the lowest attack you can possibly get on a Victini. If you have a similar Victini or a Victini with less than 118 attack, don't build it, don't use it, because you lose CMP to Galarian Slowbro, Galarian Slowking, and Malamar, at least almost all of them, and also you barely can't output enough damage to take out Galarian Slowbro and Galarian Slowking in the 2 shield scenarios, making Victini just a lot worse of an option in my opinion. Overall though, the teams definitely still went positive, and it is still a very good team, so let's take a look at the battles. Going into the first game, we lead into a Malamar, a pretty neutral lead for Victini. In this matchup, you actually need to land an overheat in the 1 shield and the 0 shield scenario in order to take them out using only 1 move. So as they go for the foul play, we can live it, and then they bring in a Galarian Slowking. We can overfarm a little bit and then bring in Malamar. You actually want to be quite quick on the swap into Malamar, because with 2 hexes advantage, Slowking or Galarian Slowking can actually win the 0 shield scenario against Malamar as we make it to a foul play. They went straight for the surf the second time around. I would definitely suggest you at least threaten the Shadow Ball by going up to it, because it is just a better move, especially when it's stab as opposed to non-stab from the surf, and they're both neutral. We can shield up the Shadow Ball afterwards and then farm them all the way down, come out with a lot of energy on the Malamar, and then start unleashing these foul plays onto their Malamar. Maybe I should actually go Superpower the second time around, because then the second one will be cheaper, and also I am already in a foul play range, so it doesn't really matter if I debuff my own defense. But we can go for the foul play, and then they go for a move immediately, meaning they don't overfarm, they don't come out with an energy. We bring in the Galarian Rapidash, the opponent brings in the Galarian Slowbro. We go straight for the high horsepower, no baiting here. Does the opponent know? We go straight for it. It almost one-shots the Galarian Slowbro, and that is a very good game. There is a reason why I'm using a high horsepower on Galarian Rapidash. I think it's just a lot better of a safe swap with high horsepower, especially because of the Galarian Slowbro specifically. Next game, lead into another Malamar. I actually go for the V-Crate the first, or this game. I think if you can sneak in the overheat, that would be very nice, because it would one-shot the Malamar after the quick attack damage. With the V-Crate, it doesn't take out the Malamar, and this is what I mean by Victini. Most Victinis will win CMP against Malamar, but mine is just so very bad. So we lose the CMP, now we can bring in the Galarian Rapidash, they bring in a Bruxish, we can overfarm, and then bring in Malamar. We will be able to paste the Bruxish. It takes the equivalent of 9 2-turn moves for the Bruxish to get to a move, so we just get to the foul play. This is why I really like Malamar. It's such a good counter to Bruxish. They bring back in the Malamar, and they bring in a very, very low health Malamar, kind of indicating that they might be very weak to Malamar in the back. So we can no-shield this first foul play, really not expecting them to go for the Hyper Beam, and then they make it to another foul play. I'm thinking we could just one shield and then farm them all the way down, come out with a ton of energy on the Malamar. In the back, it's a Claydol, we go for the foul play. I very luckily, because the game doesn't work, get to deny them a fast move. Then we can go for one more Psycho Cut, go for another foul play. We have so much energy on the Malamar, and we're even gonna be able to make it to another foul play before the Claydol can farm us down. We also have energy on the Galarian Rapidash. The opponent knows we have too much energy everywhere, so they just let it go, concede the match. And that is another very good game. Next game, good lead for Victini into Galarian Rapidash. They swap into Galarian Slowking, and once again, I'm a little bit too slow on the swap. Ideally, you want to just swap out as quickly as possible, because then you can win the 0 shield scenario against the Galarian Slowking. As it is, they will be able to make it to a surf before we can make it to 2 foul plays, and the surf won't take out the Malamar because I have a very, very good Malamar, but it will put me into a range where I can go for the foul play, because we do live it, or I can just let it go and then bring in Victini, get an energy advantage. We don't really need switch per se, because it was a Galarian Rapidash. It's not like an amazing matchup for Victini into Galarian Rapidash, and we have Galarian Rapidash of our own, so switch advantage wasn't that important. They bring in a water psychic type. I look into the top right hand corner and I already regret everything, but it's not a Bruxish, it's a Confusion Shadow Slowbro. It takes 4, then 3, then 3 for the surf for Galarian Slowbro with Confusion, so we can chill up this one, and now they should be dry on the Slowbro. They do make it to a Body Slam with their Galarian Rapidash. Unfortunately, we don't have Mega Horn. Mega Horn could have actually come in clutch quite a lot in these matchups. I do like high horsepower for the coverage, but with Mega Horn, I think we could have gotten away with only throwing one here and then farming them down. As it is, we have to throw another body slam before they can make it to a move. I don't think we're going to be able to make it to 2 body slams here, so I do go for the high horsepower instead. It is, of course, going to do a lot more damage than a body slam. It gets the shield from the slow bro. They should be 3 away from the back-to-back serve, so we can't go up to right before they make it to the serve. They are at the back-to-back now, but I don't know if an overheat would be enough, because I don't know the Shadow Slowbro matchup well enough, but I do know that Victini can win CMP against Slowbro, and as they throw the first serve, we'll be able to sneak in the quick attack, meaning we get to the V-Create on the CMP tie, and this will take out the Shadow Slowbro, and that is a very good game. Next game, lead into Galarian Slowking. Not the best matchup, but Victini, on paper at least, can win the 2-shield scenario. Straight V-Create here. Unless you have the IVs of my Victini. Sorry if I'm complaining too much, but it feels so bad. As we go for the V-Create, and then I try to sponge some energy onto Malamar. Shadow, or like Galarian Slowking, is very, very dangerous with energy, so I'm very happy that they decide to throw some energy into Malamar. They load back up onto a Shadow Ball, and then they bring in Malamar afterwards. We are in foul play range, but we can make it to the back-to-back foul play, throw the first one, throw the second one as well. I understand my opponent didn't want to go for the CMP, because if they lost, they would have just been able they would have to go for an undercharge in order to come up with energy. Instead, they decided to just take it and then overfarm, go for a move. This is a little bit annoying, because now they come up with enough energy to where we have to either expend energy with Victini in order to take them out, or expend the shield. And then I bring in the Victini as quickly as possible, because I know that they were still switch locked, so I wanted to get the full farm down. They bring back in the Galarian Slowking. We have to shield up this move in order to keep Victini alive, and we have so much energy on the Victini. They have a lot of energy on the Slowking. They should be at another serve here, but they just let the Slowking go, and now they bring in a Galarian Rapidash. We can make it to another V-Create. I know that I'm going to lose CMP, and I'm very, very heavily debuffed. I'm thinking that maybe if I switch out and then bring in the Victini afterwards, the debuff has been cleared, and I might be able to live a body slam. It does about 34% from the Galarian Rapidash, as I should have also gone for the higher horsepower here. A Mega Horn does about 78% in the mirror match, and the high horsepower does about 71%, so I think maybe a high horsepower plus the Fairy Winds would have been enough to take out the Galarian Rapidash. The opponent miscounts. We get to another body slam though, and we just take out the Galarian Rapidash, and that is another very good game. Next game, Nightmare lead into Galarian, or into Bruxish. We bring in the Galarian Rapidash, and they bring in one of the only Pokemon. This and Poison Jab Galarian Slowbro are the only Pokemon that can secure switch advantage against the Galarian Rapidash. But the good thing about Galarian Rapidash with high horsepower is it's going to be able to take some sort of advantage against pretty much everything. I think actually everything in this meta. So we do grab a shield from the Gardevoir, and then we can bring in Victini to farm them all the way down before they make it to a move. I waited out the switch timer as much as possible, because I want to be able to switch out my Victini as quickly as possible. I went for the overheat as well, because I didn't want to debuff my defense when my Victini was switch locked against the Bruxish, and now we can bring the Malamar up a shield against the Galarian Rapidash. This might not actually be too bad, as we can make it to a foul play. I went up to the potential Hyper Beam here, which, yeah, they don't shield it, which is a little bit, it's okay. And then they make it to the back-to-back body slam. We can't shield the first one, but they will be able to make it to another one, and our switch timer simply isn't up. Maybe we can farm them down with Victini afterwards, but it is looking a little bit grim, as they get some sort of a bug, meaning they can get a double CMP onto my Malamar. I look back up to the foul play, hoping that they would swap out when I swap into the Victini. They just stay in with the Rapidash to go for the body slam, and then they're just going to continue to stay in with the Rapidash. We can make it to one superpower, but we simply cannot double up. We needed the superpower for the Bruxish as well. We take out the Rapidash, but the Bruxish is going to bite down the Malamar, and that is another good game. Next game, very good lead into a Shadow Gardevoir. They bring in a Malamar, we bring in the Galarian Rapidash, which is a very good response to the Malamar. Although without Mega Horn, it's not as good of a response, but we should still be able to win the 2-shield scenario relatively comfortably here, as we can make it to the body slam on the CMP, threatening the Mega Horn, going up to the potential Mega Horn before throwing it, and then they do shield it up. I'm thinking, I think I should probably actually go for the high horsepower here, as I go for the body slam on CMP, because if they no-shield the body slam, I have to shield in order to keep switch advantage, and then I'm going to go down a shield, whereas if they shield a high horsepower, I can still make it like, then I can touch shield as well, and I'm still going to be able to outpace to the body slam before they make it to another move, so there was no risk of giving them any sort of advantage. But as it is, we go for another body slam on the CMP, they catch it, and Shadow Gardevoir doesn't really matter to me, as we can bring the Victini in afterwards, farm up to almost 100 energy with Victini. I'm thinking that Victini, even though I have such bad IVs, it's still able to beat some Malamars to the CMP, so I go straight for the V-Create because the Malamar does have a move loaded. They bring in a Bruxish instead, we throw the V-Create into the Bruxish, but they're only getting 7 bites, so they won't be able to make it to a move before we can make it to the foul play with Malamar. We just go straight for it because the Malamar in the back, although it has a foul play, it is also very low, so we will be able to make it to a foul play before they make it to back-to-back foul plays. My opponent knows that they cannot make it to back-to-back foul plays, so they force in the Hyper Beam. It does big damage to Malamar, but it doesn't take it out, so we make it to the foul play, and this takes out the Malamar. We also had a move stored on Galarian Rapidash. That is a very good game. Next game, another very bad lead into a Claydol. We swap into Galarian Rapidash, and they do 5 Mud Slaps, and then they swap into a Bronzong. And this is why we have high horsepower, or one of the reasons, also for Victini and the Slowbro, Galarian Slowking. We go straight for the high horsepower, it does massive damage to the Bronzong. We can make it to a body slam as well. I didn't know the counts for feint attack Bronzong in the middle of this game. I looked it up afterwards. It's 9-8 for the heavy slam and then 10 for the payback, which are usually the moves you run in the Psychic Cup. We can make it to another body slam before they make it to a move, and we grab both in it, or shield advantage and switch advantage with Galarian Rapidash. It is such a good save swap. I don't think we could have made it to a high horsepower, but that is fine. We can make it to a body slam, put them into a range where one foul play might be enough, almost enough to take them out. Not if they go for the Rock Tomb then. This is of course also a very good matchup for Malamar. They go for the Rock Tomb to debuff or attack, and that means one foul play won't be enough to take out the Claydol. But they will be able to make it to another move. I'm thinking that it only really is if they have a very good counter to Victini that they're going to be able to win from this range. Victini is very, very good up a shield, so I'm just going to save 2 shields for Victini. It had to be a Bruxish or a Water Gun Slowbro, I think, in order to win that game. We can make it to a V-Create. I'm realizing that was actually a little bit risky because the Claydol still has some health, not a lot. I think we can still quick attack them down, but the safe play here is really to just shield 2 body slams, load up to right before they make it to another body slam, go for the V-Create into the Rapidash to take them out, come up with enough energy to get to a V-Create on the Claydol. But the opponent goes for a Mega Horn for some reason, and then they concede the match afterwards. Next game, into another Shadow Gardevoir, they bring in the Bruxish, and I mean, I am throwing up in my mouth a little bit looking at this team, but we can make it, or we can bring in the Malamar, make it to a foul play before they make it to a move, just take out the Bruxish, and because we overfarmed a little bit, we will be able to make it to a move against the Shadow Gardevoir as well, to bring them very low. And because the matchups have been so quick, they're still going to be switch locked for quite a while, so I want to bring in my Victini as quickly as possible to avoid them being able to swap out, so we're just going to be able to get the full farm down with Victini. They only did 8 charms, so this is only, what's it called, the triple axle, but it's still from a Shadow Gardevoir, and it does about 26%, so I still shield up my Victini, come up with a ton of energy, go for the V-Create into the Galarian Slowbro. I go for the second V-Create. You could maybe argue I should go for the Overheat, but by going for the V-Create, either I put them into a range where 1 body slam from Galarian Rapidash is enough to take them out, and then we're going to be able to outpace to 2 body slams because I threw it immediately, or I grab the shield, and then they have no shields remaining for the high horsepower from the Galarian Rapidash, and we can just take them out. Next game, into another Galarian Slowking. This is it is a bad matchup, but we also have another bad matchup in the Galarian Rapidash. This is probably the best core breaker to the Victini Galarian Rapidash core, but also they throw a move immediately on bad timing, meaning they will be able to get off the surf before we can get up a move of our own, but now we can overfarm, go for a V-Create expecting the shield. You do need to land the Overheat in the 0 shield and the 1 shield scenario. But yeah, they no shielded, and then we catch the move onto Malamar, saving a lot of energy on the Victini as well. In the back, it's a Galarian Rapidash. We go up to right before they make it to a potential Mega Horn, and then we go for the foul play into the Galarian Rapidash. The opponent plays this really, really well. They let us get to another foul play, which initially made me consider, like, it looks a little bit weird. They should have probably just gone for the body slam on CMP, but instead, they farm up to 100 energy, shield 1 foul play, even undercharge this body slam to come up with so much energy on the Galarian Rapidash. And Galarian Rapidash just hits so hard into everything in the meta. So I bring back in the Victini hoping they would go for the body slam, so go for the CMP on the first body slam because they have so much energy, but they force in the Mega Horn to take out Victini, make it to another body slam on our Galarian Rapidash to put us into range where I can just bring in the Bruxish and farm us all the way down. I go for a body slam for no real reason. I should probably just top left to save my Galarian Rapidash. As it is, they bite us down, and that is a very good game. Well played by the opponent. Next game, lead into Galarian Rapidash, and they're staying in. This is a good matchup for Victini, of course. You want to not debuff yourself too early because you don't want the body slams to do even more damage, but also by over farming, I'm kind of I'm forcing myself into shielding, and therefore they should really be baiting, because when I have so much energy and they have a move that can't one-shot me, I have to shield, which really should incentivize the opponent to bait. They go straight for the high horsepower, we can't make it to the back-to-back V-Create, they just let it go. Maybe they expect it to be able to live that. In the back, they have a Galarian Slowbro, or they have a Malamar. We bring in the, we want to save our Victini, so we bring in the Galarian Rapidash, they bring in the Galarian Slowbro, we go straight for the high horsepower, but they shield it up. And this is actually a little bit awkward now, because we can make it to a body slam, but this doesn't do all that much damage, and they come up with a lot of energy on the Galarian Slowbro. We can bring in the Malamar. They farm up to 12, or they farm up to 14 poison jabs. It takes 8 for the first Sludge Bomb, 7 for the second, so they will be able to make it to another one. They win the CMP. This is also an IV dependent CMP tie. They go for the Sludge Bomb. I was kind of hoping they were going to go for the Surf, which we would have been able to live. They can make it to a Surf as well on the Victini. I'm very much expecting to lose this CMP, so let them get there. Instead I overfarm. We need to land a V-Create on the Slowbro and an Overheat on the Malamar. They bring in the Malamar. We overfarm as much as possible. We can make it to 2 V-Create and a V-Create on the Slowbro. So we go for the Overheat instead, but it doesn't take out the Malamar. They live it and they get 2 of our play, which will of course take out the Victini. And that is another very good game. Yeah. Next game, lead into another Bruxish. Nightmare lead. We swap into the Galarian Rapidash, and they're staying in with their Bruxish. So we can farm up to right before they make it to a move with the Bruxish. As I say, it takes 9 2-turn moves for the Bruxish to make it to a move, and then we go for the bait with the Body Slam, because Bruxish pretty much shield everything. I'm thinking that if I shield once, we can make it to 2 more moves, but then they bring in a Shadow Gardevoir. We go for the Body Slam. I kind of panic a little bit. I should have gone for the high horsepower. It doesn't matter because they shielded up. Our switch timers are misaligned quite a lot, so I'm thinking that if I can take out this Gardevoir relatively quickly, not too quickly because I want my switch timer to still come up, I can bring in the Malamar if they bring in their Bruxish too quickly, and now their Bruxish is stuck for a while, which is really how you can play around with the switch timer sometimes. We can make it to the foul play before they make it to a move and before they're able to swap out, so we can take out the Bruxish. In the back, it's a Galarian Rapidash. We farm up to right before they make it to a potential Mega Horn, and then we go for the foul play. The opponent knows that I have energy on Victini. I think I'm 1 away from the V-Create, so they have to overfarm a lot to be able to get to 2 Body Slams on the Victini. They overfarm too much. So they go for the CMP, and because it's a CMP, we can just shield it up to make sure we get off this foul play on the Galarian Rapidash, and that is another very good game. Next game, final game I think, we lead into Victini, and this is actually a matchup where losing CMP is kind of nice. It makes a lot of sense for Victini to go up to 12 quick attacks, because then you're at 96 energy, and then go for the move, because you don't want to go for a move after, like you don't want to go over 100 energy, but you also want to get it off as late as possible to debuff your defense as late as possible. So we get the CMP, and because we lose it, they have to shield up our V-Create because their defense dropped. We didn't have to shield up theirs, but we do have to shield up the second one. As we try to overfarm, they bring in a Bruxish, they snipe Victini, we can't get out of there, and they snipe away so much energy. Very nice play by the opponent, but we can't bring in the Malamar afterwards, go for a move before they make it to a move with their Bruxish. This will take out the Bruxish. And now, what is in the back? They might bring back in the Victini. They saved a lot of energy on the Victini as well, which very well played by the opponent. I'm thinking that if I shield this, they're still going to be able to outpace to the next V-Creates. I'm just going to save all the shields for Galarian Rapidash, hoping that because they had a Fire type on the lead, they're going to be weak to Galarian Rapidash. In the back, we can outpace to the Body Slam on the Victini. They shielded up. We of course have to shield up their V-Create as well, but now they should be 4 away from the next one. It of course takes 5 for the V-Creates all the time, and also 7 for the Overheat. So we can do 4 more Fairy Winds and then go for the Body Slam, but they swap out into a Malamar. This would be a great situation to have Mega Horn. As we don't have Mega Horn, we have to go for 2 Body Slams instead. In reality, it looks like we need a high horsepower as well, but we need to come out with a move for the Victini as well, so we farm up to the back-to-back Body Slam, 1 for the Victini, 1 for the Malamar, hoping they would take out the Malamar, but they just about live it. And that is another good game. That was the last battle for today. Overall, I think this is a very strong team for the Psychic Cup. 3 very strong Pokemon and very good team compositions. You can't really go wrong using it. Other than that, I just want to talk about why I really like high horsepower on Galarian Rapidash, especially on the save swap. It is not strictly the better move over Mega Horn, but on the save swap you're often going to be faced with poison, steel or fire types, so having a ground move just makes a lot of sense. And it just allows you to get some sort of advantage, either shield advantage or switch advantage against everything in the meta, because none of those Pokemon, the poison, fire or steel types, want to take the high horsepower. So it's just a really good save swap. Other than that, if you liked the video, remember to leave a like. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And of course, a massive thank you to the members of the channel. Your support is very much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.